All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the DenofTruth. It's your boy Tino. Um, Look, we're living in crazy times right now. Panicking. None of y'all got toilet paper. Tomorrow we could all be gone. I don't even know, but you know what? We're here with another episode. I got y'all. So today we got someone who's been in the music scene for the longest of time. Someone who's been recording music, making steps for the rest of the culture. Someone's been in the forefront. Um, so today we got Bwise. So Bwise, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, my bro.
Man, it's good
How
to
are
have
you?
you here. I'm good, man. I'm chilling.
It's good to be here, man.
Good to be here. It's a crazy time.
Yeah,
It's a crazy time to be alive right now.
this Corona time right now.
It's Corona time. And people watching this right now are probably thinking, damn,
It's,
what the fuck, what the hell is going on?
It's a time capsule, though, man. Like,
What do you mean by that?
like you're saying, it's a crazy time now. If people look at it like a year, 2 years,
Yeah.
they'll watch this interview and they'll be like, "Damn, do you remember that Corona?"
Do you remember that? That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
shook.
I was talking to my older brother and I was like, like as much as all this is going on, like it's interesting that, in 1 year to 2 years time, we're gonna be able to say, shit, we lived through coronavirus. Like this is a thing. But yeah, man. So I think the first thing that I want to sort of get into it with you is just doing a lot of prep for this interview. I was researching a lot about yourself, K1, and how you guys started into music, and especially how you guys started. And one of the things that I wanted to emphasize on the podcast, one of the things I really wanted to push out to people, a big thing for me this year is the concept of being proud of where you're from and actually focusing on what's happening in your community. So let's talk about your early career and sort of where you grew up. So I know you grew up in Liverpool, and for those who don't know, Liverpool's treacherous, man. like
Why does everyone feel that way? I'm like,
Liverpool's serious, man. Liverpool has been a serious area for a long time.
yeah.
But you know what? Liverpool's always been an interesting area for a long time.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about you growing up in Liverpool and sort of your early music career. How did you sort of get into music?
Yeah, man. So, basically, is like me being younger, like from about kindy to up to year 5, I moved around a lot because of my parents' occupation or my dad's occupation. So, I actually got out. I was out in Livo from about year 5 onwards. From then on into high school. So I spent time. I was born in like Milpera area.
Yeah.
Moved out to the countryside of Australia, like we're talking like Dubbo, Canamble, Gilgandra, etc. Because my dad was a social worker, so we moved wherever he got employment. And when you used to get that whole thing about like, I don't know if you ever got it, African dads would be like, you keep messing up, I'm sending you back home.
Yeah.
My dad did that shit.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
He was like, I'm sending you back.
I spent one year about doing primary in Nigeria as well. Came back. Then we live in like Chester Hill for a bit. Then I was from Livo, so that's where I was for pretty much until I was an adult. And then so that's basically like how I ended up in there. But that's what I basically identified with because that's where I grew. I grew up as a teenager, young adult. So that's where I spent my time and so mainly like Hoxton Park area, Lanier, all the way up to Liver, like that was pretty much a stomping ground.
Yeah. So you pretty much grew up in the area. Yeah, you pretty much were in a lot of different suburbs. But you came to were you born in Australia? Right.
I was born here.
Yeah. So growing up in the area, growing up in Western Sydney at that time, I can imagine there weren't many Africans.
Not really. Not from. I didn't notice. I wasn't noticing much of an African community until I was in high school.
Yeah.
Until later on in high school, then you started to see a lot more like Ghanaians, a few Nigerians, Sudanese. Like there was the population of South Sudanese migrants who moved here, during the 2000s. So until then, you didn't really see much.
Yeah. And how did that sort of affect your sort of outlook on things? Because I remember when I came to Australia, it was about 2000, and I lived in Newcastle and Armidale.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was in bush. So like me and my family were literally like the only black family at that time. It was 2000.
Yeah.
Right, and I felt like up until maybe about mid primary school, there was this sense of I guess not displacement, but a sense of me being very conscious that I'm different.
Yeah.
Right. Did you get a sense of that?
Totally, bro. Totally, big time. Because like I think even for like being mixed race, full stop, was even a bit of like that because the shock value was, when I was younger, when we had to move to regional New South Wales for a couple of years, that was a shock because you knew you were too, like, you know what I mean, like he was Caucasian, man,
Yeah.
too deep.
I feel that, man.
The only
Besides
person,
that odd indigenous brother.
yeah, but the thing is, so you know what I mean. The indigenous brothers and sisters went to different schools. You know what I mean. My dad was like a God-fearing man, so he put us in a Catholic school.
Yeah.
And the our indigenous brothers and sisters, they all went to the public schools.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the private schools in the region of New South Wales is all the farmers' kids.
Yeah.
The only can I swear?
Yeah, 100%. Nah, we can say 100%.
The only motherfucker that was the same color like me or darker was the local town's doctor's kid.
Yeah.
Who was usually Indian at that time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel you, yeah.
But even that motherfucker ain't fucking with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's trying to do his thing to blend in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, so he's like, don't fuck up my whole shit.
Don't fuck my shit up with what you're going on. Yeah.
Literally, bro. So I can get deep, man. Like to the point, like you get bullied, and then you have kids say to you, "Oh, you're not allowed to bully him because he's so and so's kid."
Yeah.
Because they don't want the town doctor's son, like the town doctor, to leave.
Yeah.
That's the only doctor in regional, like in certain areas, is the only doctor, bro. Like, so their parents will actively say, do not harm or tease or bully that child at school. But the other one, yeah, he's free. He can do whatever. We don't care about his that. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the way I grew up. So if you're going back to your original question, like identity was a bit of a weird thing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't really understand my identity until I then went to Nigeria. Then I was there for like a year or so. Then I came back to Sydney, and then I was popped into school at Chester Hill for like a year. You know what I mean? Which is like Bankstown and whoop-de-whoop. And then I'm ready to fight, bro.
Yeah.
I'm ready to fight some kid because that's all I knew from that point on. I'm like, every day's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
Till I got there, and then everyone's like my best mate.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you're like us, brother.
You're
know
diverse.
What I mean?
It's
I'm
diverse.
And I was, you know what I mean? So it was very confusing at that stage. So it took me a while to find identity and understand. So then moving then to like, liver and et cetera. And that's why I grew up with, you know what I mean? It's similar like, we grew up with, like Syrians, fucking, Italians, Philos, Islanders, etc. It's nothing for me because they're all brothers and sisters. Like I can relate to anyone on any level.
Yeah, I mean, Western Sydney's unique like that, isn't it? Like I've traveled a bit, and I've seen diverse environments, but I've never seen so many diverse. I've never seen an environment where like, literally, like, one of my homies was using this as an example. He was telling me, we were talking about, because we both work in the corporate world, and we talk a lot about how like diverse, like every corporate environment in Australia is focusing so much on diversity, like they're forcing it, right? Not that they're forcing it, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good in a sense. I know, I see where it's coming from, but they're really pushing it. And, one of my friends made a good point. He was like, yo, at the company I'm working for, they're saying, we have to get a certain amount of people of color, which is great. I'm not saying that's not great, but he was saying, it's so odd for me because I grew up in an environment where like my neighbor's black, the guy living across the road is Asian, my other neighbor's Muslim. So like growing up, I had I had so many people from diverse backgrounds that I never looked at race and like that until I got into these environments and I realized, shit, some motherfuckers, they just don't want people of color in the building.
That's it. That's how it goes. Some people be like that, man.
Yeah.
And for someone like, it's just normal to you that, corporate people have to like, it becomes a focus. It's like, okay, we need to start,
really doing
adding a bit more diversity to our workforce and shit like that.
And I guess how moving on to that, how did that influence your music? So like what were some of your early music influences and what were you sort of looking at that influenced you?
Really, my early music influences was just, it wasn't too like complicated. It was just, it was how I felt. It was what was around me. It was just like usually like my surroundings, and yeah, that was it. Like I never gave music too much thought. Like early on, I just kind of did it. I picked up doing music. Starting with friends. You know what I'm saying, and then as I go on now, like now where I'm at in my career now, I draw like music is my release. Like music is what I look at everything now and I put everything into it. But
Yeah.
earlier on, it was, you're still finding your own sound as well. So you know, someone might rap about some topic who's from the States or whatever, and you might just try and do a topic that's the same. But now, as an adult and who really does music, I'm making my own experiences, my own everything that I go through and whatever.
Mm. And I guess that's how long have you been in the music industry for?
I'll put it this way: if you say music industry, I'll say when I'm actually when I started earning actual income from music, would say 2015, 16, right, which isn't long. It's about 4 years. But I've been in recording studios for 10 plus years.
10 plus years.
Yeah.
And I guess if you could go back to when you first started recording music, so what advice would you give to the 20 years old you? With all this experience you've gained, what would you tell you back when you were 20?
Invest in myself, and not wait and hope, not put my weight and hope in other people.
Yeah.
Put it in yourself, and leave Australia. It sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
To say leave Australia and then go do it. What I meant by that is that, because during that period, I've seen now Australia it's at a good place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I've been here sort of working and chipping away when it wasn't a vibe to say I'm a recording artist or a rap artist from Australia. It's not a vibe.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've been here doing it since. So it's like a half and half. You know what I mean? Half of you is happy and proud that you did say stick it out, but the other half, the younger me, was said go ahead, skip to London real quick.
Yeah.
What you did here in 10 years could have done in 1 year in London.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe. But at the end of the day, man, God puts us in our roles and does what he does. And that's it. But yeah, I would have said invest in self, maybe change relocation or not stay, bounce back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's it.
I mean, but you know what? But I gotta say that if it wasn't for people who chose to stay, I don't think we would have got to this point. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I think we're talking a little bit about it now, but now you're seeing the sort of talent that's sort of coming out. Yeah. And then we'll talk a little bit about this, but I was gonna lead into it. But for example, the K1 days. Mm-hmm. When I first looked at that video, I was like, if I knew this existed. That time,
you saw one of the videos.
Yeah, so I saw one of the videos on YouTube now, but was
the big budget one?
It was the one, the one with the opera, with the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which African Australians were doing videos like that in, what was that, 2007?
Yeah, 2007.
You name one.
Yeah.
You name any Australian rap group was doing videos like that in 2007.
It was none.
None.
But that's what I was saying. If I knew,
you know what I'm saying?
If I knew. For example, if I had more access to that when I was in high school and primary school, a lot of things could have been different to me, because then I would have seen people that I can identify with on TV and on all these platforms.
Exactly.
And I think that's the issue. That's what's helping right now. Yeah. Because a lot of kids are seeing different people on the platform. When they see you, they see, all right, this is at least something that I can relate to.
See, my question is and this is called the DenofTruth. Yeah. That'll be truths. Yeah. A lot of things that has been able to see now, a lot of things that happen now, where does it stem from? Who's started doing all these these things? You know what I'm saying? So it's that's a part of my career where it's even that I think we were still figuring it out. You know what I mean? We didn't yet. We hadn't fully figured out. I was at high school. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was playing on Rage while I'm in high school.
That's lit. That's a vibe. That's a vibe. Yeah.
And that was the independent hustle too. There was you know what I mean? We used to try and get signed and shit. You know what I mean? This is when we used to go to all the Sonys, Universals, etc. And they'll be like, "What are we supposed to do with you?" Yeah. They had no clue. Yeah, they're like, rap is not a vibe. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's cool to market it from overseas, but it wasn't cool to something coming from here going out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Believe it or not, you know what I mean? And she might see this interview one day. The first time I met Iggy Azalea when she was still a teenager on her way out the door. And some real ones know she was hopping around Sydney for a bit. Yeah. Real talk. And the first thing she said to us was, and I remember because I only met her that one time, it was we did some talent quest. And she was like, man, you guys need to go to America because that's what I'm going to do. And we're like, all right, cuz.
Yeah. Are you serious?
On my mom.
Damn.
Literally. And people who know around, who was around those days, like, they know she was around in Sydney for a little bit before she hopped out to the States. And what happened?
She popped off.
Yeah.
Whether you like your music or not, she popped off.
Whether you like her music or what she's doing, it's all good. But that's what it was. People were either leaving, and for me, there was no one to identify with on television. You know, I know Hilltop Hoods were around doing it, Bliss and SO were doing it, and you know, in all fairness, and I take my hat, because you know they're paid a lot of ways, you know, in the industry, but as a young, you know, African Australian or whatnot, it couldn't identify, you know, with them. So we'd identify a lot with American music.
Yeah.
And you know, at the time, you know, there wasn't anyone on the thing that looked like that. So what are we gonna do?
Yeah, that's true.
You
But
know?
do you think that there's still those stigmas in sort of the industry that you have to go out of Australia to sort of make it?
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
That's changed. The internet changed that.
What do you mean by that?
Because you don't have to leave your doorstep. You can be a freaking star in Europe and still be living in Canterbury.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah,
you don't have to leave, because, you know what I mean, Instagram, you know what I mean, YouTube, Spotify, etc. Like, you don't have to leave your actual where you're from now.
Mm-hmm.
You can rep where you're from, and it's cool. It's a thing to rep where you're from. And right now, there's a microscope, or not a microscope, but like there's a looking glass. People looking at Australia at the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a thing.
You know, for someone who's been recording for such a long period of time and sort of dabbled into, you know, not dabbled, but someone who's made diverse music. So I would say, when I say diverse, I say music for the radio, music for the streets, music for bitches, a mixture of all three. Do you ever feel the pressure to sort of make music that's popping? And when I say that, I say this. Like right now, drill, the music drill is popping. So you can have artists who are not necessarily as talented make a track on a drill beat, and they could get 100,000 views or 20,000 streams a week on the streaming platforms and on YouTube, because drill is what that has the eyes on it. It's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are super talented. You're just using the hands
It's the
that
vibe
are
right now.
Yeah, it's the vibe right now. Do you feel as an artist you have pressure to make that type of music, or how do you sort of, because you've probably seen a couple waves, right?
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Yeah, and do you feel pressure to make that type of music, or?
I don't feel pressured like to make a certain sound, because there's certain sounds, like, you know, that you have to pull yourself up and be like, all right, hold on a sec, because at the same time, like drill and drill, like, you know, we know its origins, you know what I'm saying, and we know its background. So making a particular, like a drill song, the content matter, I think let's leave it be for those who do it well, and it just comes naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know who's winning those pockets in Australia are already doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know what I mean? If you can do it, you can do it. I do feel a pressure though, or I did feel a pressure, like if we're talking honestly, like more so, not a pressure, but I felt like almost an obligation. Even like on one song that I just released is like "Where You From," which was, we actually recorded that at the tail. Sorry, we recorded this at the tail of my first album.
Yeah.
Right, which was called Area Famous.
Yeah.
And even the area, the name, the title itself in 2018, that even wasn't a conversation.
Yeah.
Then it became a conversation later, but that's because there's so many people. Like there's so many people coming out. It's like it couldn't not be a conversation anymore.
Yeah, that couldn't not be had.
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Which is great.
Yeah.
Like, which is hell yeah. So even like with Where You From though, even that's more like a homage, or as in like, you know what I mean, what we've been rapping and what we've been talking about for time. If you you know, even dug in on some of those K1 songs, you're seeing videos where we're sitting in Livo in freaking 2011, 2012 squad deep, which now would be called a drill video.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was just the niggas at the freaking Glenfield car park.
And we were just there. We're making it happen.
And there was all the boys. You know what I mean? But now it's like the layout and the setup for like what would be in a drill video. But the thing is, it's just like, so I'd feel more the pressure, like saying, like more so just continuing to pay the homage and say, here's a reminder, like, or something like that. And now there's a spotlight on everything that we're doing, and how everyone's coming out from different areas, from West Sydney, Southwest Sydney. It's great. But I don't feel personally, it's not a pressure for me to do drill music or anything, because that's not, you know,
your lane.
That's not my lane, and that's not who I am.
Yeah.
But always to still what the essence of some of drill though is to still represent and talk about, you know, where you're from and who you are, and you know, that's fine. But you know,
the concept of trying to do
the
different
concept. And
ways.
like you're saying as well, some artists like who might just jump in the studio that first song they've ever made,
bam, hit.
and then bam. Well, yeah, a hit is also like not just numbers on YouTube, it's numbers in your bank account too.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those two have to make sense.
yeah.
So for me, you know what I mean? Like those two have to meet.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Good point. Because
That's a hit. That's when I know you're making hit, like as well.
So you sort of assess it on how good the song goes and if financially you're in a better position.
Yeah.
Is that your measurement stick?
Yeah, basically, because like you can build, and that's something that I'm not sitting there like saying that is that's not like a shade or anything. That's something that we all should be conscious of.
Yeah.
And why I say it is because people who know me personally, they, like, you know what I mean, like I'm not like, I won't big bro you or anything, but people know like I'm a pot of knowledge. What I already know, I will happily share it with that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So if there's all this attention from a lot of the majors right now on all our boys from area, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So the majors are looking at us now. Why are they looking at us now? But they weren't looking like 5 years ago. So everyone be smart about what's going on. So if you got these numbers and you're doing these numbers as well, make sure that business is also adding up now as well. That's why a lot of these people are looking at us and wanting to do more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everyone be conscious of that.
Yeah.
Simple.
I definitely have noticed a lot of majors now are sort of trying to dabble into different young boys. Like some of the young boys I fought with at different studios, they'll show me like, you know, some of the conversations that like a lot of these majors I started throwing at them. And, you know, sometimes they start with some sneaky shit, you know what I'm saying? They'll be like, let's come to the studio, you know what I mean? We got you.
Oh,
and
you mean like some of them?
And I'm like, look, for a young boy coming straight out of Fairfield, like, you're 18, you're 19. Yeah, you're going to a hectic studio. The situation, like I'm telling you, like I understand that the situation's there. You're coming into a hectic studio. You know, they got the drinks on tap. You ain't paying for nothing. Everyone's looking good. You see a little engineer. You see a guy. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Yeah, and it's lit. It was like, wait, on. But like, what they don't realize is that all of this is like, so that people have a job description.
Yeah, bro.
Right. So their job description is to get you in a particular position. Yeah. So they could, you know, make these numbers, and you already got your fan base. You already got, let's just say on Instagram, you're already popping. You already got 30,000 followers. Your videos are popping. You're really doing a lot of the work. So why do you think now? You touched a bit on it. Why do you think now a lot of the labels are focusing on these younger boys or making drill and a lot of these younger artists? Do you think that they see this as a viable thing in the long term?
No, it's not. Like, I don't know if they see what's viable in the long term. All I know is like the thing about the now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's why, you know, from my experience, you know, dealing with, you know, music labels and all that, you know, they deal in the now. You know what I mean? Like they, in a sense, you know what I mean. Not to discredit anyone, but particularly in Australia, I think a lot of like major labels kind of had to play catch up. Like,
that's a good,
you know what I mean?
Good way to put it.
Yeah, like they saw what was happening with drill, like, you know, and what everyone's saying happening with like drill music and a lot of music just coming out of, you know, Western Sydney and Southwest Sydney. And it was just like, wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah. Oh shit. What the hell's going on?
What I mean? But you can't. The numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? The support doesn't lie. The fans don't lie. And people even putting on their own shows and attendees, purchasing tickets, buying merch, they don't lie. You know what I mean? And let's keep it 100. Let's even take it before the whole drill movement. Let's take it back to Cursor, cuz. Yeah. Let's give it. I was gonna say, bro, because like the you know what I mean? Like the real first independent artist that was doing numbers that I knew from around the way, because I spent some time living in Campbelltown as well. Yeah. As an adult later on, just for a few years, but you know that was his stomping ground. Yeah. You know what I mean? The people. So that's what I mean. Like the blueprint for a lot of that independent hustle, no deal, no label, no nothing, doing major numbers. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's Curse, bro. Yeah.
You know what's great? You know what? Curse is one of those guys I want to get on the podcast because I remember when I was like 16, 17. Yeah. One of the only rappers I knew was Cursor. You know what I mean? And the thing about Cursor is a lot of people didn't understand his music. Yeah. But if you were from Southwest, I don't know many people from Southwest who used to diss Cursor. especially the youth, they really like Cursor.
Who's gonna diss him?
And then now that I look back on it now, and
People
I'm
who
looking
are
at
from the area is gonna diss Cursor.
yeah,
They were like, he's a dickhead, but like that's what they would say, and then people from where we grew up were like, Cursor's
he's
the
dope.
man. Yeah.
And then now that I look back on it, and now that I can reflect on what the fuck these guys were doing, this dude was putting out his own music.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing his own shows.
Yep.
He had a crazy fan base, and was touring like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And his merch was crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he had a whole I wouldn't say it was just Campbelltown.
Yeah.
I would say it was probably like the whole. He had on lockdown.
Yeah.
Liverpool to
Upwards.
upwards.
But even outside, like even the regional areas and all that. You know what I mean? Like just anyone who can identify with that.
Yeah.
But to take it back to your original question is that people like Kurtz and all that, they completely want, because he wanted to do his own independent thing from what I saw on the outside, and he and the team and with the people he had around it, they said that we're not fucking with the labels, etc. They just did it. It's part of their brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They went about and did their business. So now it's just like that's still now being duplicated and people now doing it. So, but there's people that are willing to sit and come to the table so that the labels aren't going to miss out on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now because rap music, full stop, is the #1 genre in the world right now.
Yeah.
It is.
It's culture.
It's
the culture.
It's culture. But,
Yeah.
but stats, if you're talking numbers, statistically, the most streamed genre, because we all know everyone uses the music now via streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
The most streamed genre is rap music.
Yeah.
Rap is no longer, it's pop, it's now pop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because pop is popular music, pop culture. So pop culture is rap culture, which means rap is the #1 genre. So rap is pop now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now because of that, and in Australia, because now like we've got this whole heavy scene of all different styles, not just drill, but just in general, all this music coming out and good quality music. It's like, shit, they got to play ball now with us.
Yeah. But how do we, my whole thing was, I used to have this perspective where, as if, and I still believe in 100%, get your own platform, do your own shit, work with the team and the people around you.
Yeah.
People who try to do this hero bullshit, especially with the culture that doesn't have a structure.
Yeah.
No, not a culture, but like a country that doesn't have a musical and entertainment structure like we do.
Yeah.
You can't play hero ball. You can.
So
I'm
by
not
hero ball, you
saying
mean like what?
in the context of everyone needs to work together in a sense.
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So work as a team.
Work as a team.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do your own thing,
Definitely.
but you get so much further working as a team. And going back to what you were saying, with a lot of these, I wouldn't say it was just labels, but a lot of these platforms, especially in Australia, because if you look at their platforms outside of Australia, they're a bit more established in what they do. How do we start to get? I feel like we need to start to get people of the culture in these positions. We need to start getting people from our culture, of people from our background in the positions where we can actually create more content on a more mainstream base. We're creating our own content and people are consuming it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we need to start to get a lot of these mainstream brands to start to understand the culture.
Oh yeah.
Like what you guys did with JD Sports.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw? When was the last time you saw a brand like a campaign that's that dark?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, overseas.
But you see
not here.
often.
Yeah, not here. You don't see that.
Know?
It's like a brave step. It's a brave move.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're becoming more trustworthy. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by that?
Because shout out to like Zig, you know what I mean, and others who are part of that campaign, who put that together.
Yeah.
With in collaboration with Adidas Originals. See, one thing is, the first time I ever went to the UK, right, to London was like 2011, 12, and I remember sitting at the bus stops there, and on the bus stops they had a campaign, a citywide campaign, and it was all the grime artists at the time.
Yeah.
That were popping, all on the campaign. So just like I'd say, just for Skep, I think Wiley was on there as well, and a few other people who was known in the scene, and they were all at the bus stops, all wearing Adidas Originals, because Adidas Originals has always been a brave brand, because Adidas Originals and rap music has been tied in, together ever since Run DMC really held them together, the Shell-Toes.
Yeah.
So seeing a campaign like that with Adidas and being involved in a campaign like that, and a campaign of of color, like where there's so many African Australians who was involved in that. It's beautiful. It's dope.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
But yeah, I just definitely think that we need to start. I think the next step is. They don't do shit. I feel like either way we're doing it by ourselves, and we don't necessarily need that cosign.
But what it is that's actually something that I was gonna say is that you were saying, how do we all get in these positions and how do we spread into these positions so we can further the culture?
Yeah.
And it's shit like right now, like what you're doing right now, like this show, like doing this, like I remember saying like you kicked it off about a year ago or something.
Yeah.
And I think we spoke with management about you some couldn't think, but I've been watching as you've been progressing. But what it is, bro, it's moves like this. You know what I mean? It's when people like yourself or young African Australians or people working back go and they do something for the culture. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't do something to move it, it's not gonna happen. So if you take again to the UK or whatever, or even to the, you know what I mean? Like people who went and started doing pirate radio, or people started doing certain things like now doing podcasts, like it's furthering people's in that position.
Yeah.
So then, for example, someone might see you from a certain thing and say, yo, this guy can really articulate himself. He's already gone about it. He's got media trained. Like he's got things. He's got an inroad with certain people from the industry.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
That's what furthers it. That's what builds it. So you building your brand is also building the culture's brand. You're in tune. You're aware. There's people out here who will headhunt you from doing this. Mark my words, guys. You know what I mean? So trust me, it's just stuff like this. It's like seeing my sister like Ebony Boadu on freaking Triple J.
They're
you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
when we're going back again, like when I started, there was nobody on radio. There was no brothers and sisters radio. There's no one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we got sister there. We got Flex Mommy, sister over here doing MTV. We got, you know what I mean? Like we got people all around now.
Yeah, it's starting now. You don't even see it, but it's starting to work.
You know what I mean? We got people at the labels who now working in the labels from African background and stuff, who are now in the doors. So we're spreading.
Yeah, we're spreading and it's working, man. I mean, and like you said, I think I want to put a big emphasis on the fact that it's not necessarily that we have to be in these places and sort of knock on these doors to get in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, I think a big part of it is sort of getting into it and being a participant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My homeboy Stanley always says that right now you're in the field.
Yeah.
Right. If you were playing a position right now in the field, what would you be doing? You'll be doing something.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just be sitting there on the sideline and just waiting for the next thing to happen. Waiting. Yeah. You are there on the field right now. You have to be doing things. So I think that we're doing things now. But I know one of the things that you guys focus on is the whole concept of self-sufficiency. Right. So how was it like when you guys first started to do your own shows and getting that together? For a lot of artists, they just don't have, honestly, they just don't have the information. Like they wouldn't even know how to start.
It's not having the information. And I didn't have the information, you know what I mean? I knew what I needed. I knew what I had to sort of, it's like when you say, it's like a rough gem, you know what I mean, in the dirt. You know what I mean? You polish it up and then you do this. Like I always knew what I wanted and what I always wanted to do. I knew that artistically, like I was always going to express myself. Performing, I knew I was like a semi-decent good performer at the time. Yeah. I'm a very good performer now. Yeah. You know what I mean? My bookings don't lie. So it's just like, all right, cool. I think you had my manager on the show, Alexander Franco, you know what I mean? So I knew when I met him, I knew that he would be the turning point for my career. Yeah. You know what I mean? We'd known each other, but I knew that there was something about him when I met him. Like I was just like, I know that, me and you working together, like you could help me change, my trajectory. You know what I'm saying? So, because I didn't have the information. He had the tools and the information, and he knows music. Yeah. You know what I mean? He knows rap music, and you know what I mean? So it was just and he was cool to get along with. Like, he didn't feel he's my boy. Like, we don't have to just know he's my mate. Yeah. So the thing is then it's just like, that's what able to, help me progress. And even right now, I'm still an independent artist, technically. So we manage self-sufficiency, but at the same time, like, that was a big thing. Then we take it, like, building our own studio, having our own studio set up and paying rent when we barely even had money to pay rent.
To do shit,
yeah, bro, to do anything. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'd be hopping trains, but I'll make sure I pay my rent for the studio on time. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I fucking feel that, man.
More important
I feel
to me.
that, yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, investing in oneself and just being sufficient in oneself, you know, up until the point where it actually paid back.
What were some of the things that you learned? You know, what were some of your learning lessons? If there was one thing that you could go back and think about that was a major lesson for you, what was it?
If I were to go back, there's so many, men.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still learning lessons right now. But again, probably taking it back to is that I would have invested in myself like earlier on.
Yeah.
Because I went looking, and you do what everyone does. Again, lack of information. What you know about being a musician or getting on or getting signed or getting the time is like, I got to get signed. I got to, you know, someone's got to sign me. I'm going to make all this music, but I need to get signed.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. I would have earlier on started a pattern of just investing in oneself, you know, buying studio equipment for oneself, like, you know, pumping every dollar into
What you're doing.
Into what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Which I did, like I sacrificed a lot, but, you know, I would have done a few little things a bit differently, you know what I'm saying?
What were those few little things?
Like that, again, investing in self. I wouldn't have like wasted time, you know, going out and drink ups and
Yeah, you should focus on your task. Yeah.
literally, like, you know, I wouldn't have wasted time like working a freaking day job, you know, like you had to
Get a grind.
get some money from somewhere, but, you know, yeah, it's just about just being focused on the craft.
Yeah.
As much as possible, you know what I mean? And also, actually, one big thing for me was not traveling enough. So I associated being here and putting all my grind into music or whatever it may be, is that I missed out on opportunities like, you know, you do holidays and stuff like that. I didn't do all that shit. I got on that late. So later on, when things actually started being smooth, you know, even my partner who's with me, you know, she's like, was with me day one. It's basically like, you know, we went on a holiday later on.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
She's like knew that it's grind time, like. But I would have made it an effort to travel more and make those music networks, you know what I mean? Which I didn't really start doing until last year.
Yeah.
I would have gone and done that earlier. That's one important thing, is not to just stay in your surroundings. It's important to travel overseas and make those networks.
Yeah, just to get out of your environment, man. But like, I understand that, like, especially for a lot of people who are comfortable in the environments or grew up in the or who live in the area, sometimes you forget. And I attest to this. I know this is true. Sometimes you forget that there's a greater world. Like sometimes you forget that there's a greater Sydney than there actually was in Sydney. I think one of the best things that I did was me and my homies, like we were 16, but we used to catch train to the city. Yeah. And we would walk from. We always talk about this.
It's like a whole new world. Eh?
Yeah, we would walk from Central to Circular Quay, walk. And then walk back and catch a train back. So by that time we were like, and then we would go to catch a bus to like Manly, a ferry, to Manly. So by the time we were actually 18, 20, we had a lot of exposure to people from different environments. Yeah. But I know a lot of young boys, they just sort of stay in the area. And I always try to say, man, go fucking travel. Like there's so much more. And just visually, just for you to see how people are, just to see what people are doing in different areas. Yeah. It's like, for example, how much different is Fairfield to Cronulla? It's like a different world.
It's a different world, bro.
Different world. You know, so I always try to encourage people, if you don't want to, let's say if you're not even traveling, like either try to go to a different area or go to a different state. How different is like Queensland to New South Wales, you know? But just moving around. But you know, I also want to talk to you about you know, like your music progression and sort of seeing your friends sort of grow into different sort of positions. Yeah. You know, when you guys sort of first started music, did you guys talk about you know, where you guys would be, or were things so dynamic that people just changed?
Yeah, no, I just think people just went with the flow, you know what I mean? People went off each other's thing, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, in my circle, you know what I mean, of people, you know what I mean, it's like, alright, so like to drop some names, you know, you would like, you know, have like Mono Crooks, Blessed, Micah Coss, Zig, who manages, you know, I Am Solo,
all different,
right? Like just to drop a few. But we all came up together. You know what I mean? Like, So even kind of like even before some people were serious in music or whatever, like we all just knew each other from around the way. So no one really, and out of all those people I mentioned, probably knows Zig the longest. You're right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's doing his thing as a manager, as a business owner, etc. So, but we knew each other from day. You know what I mean? So it's like we didn't think about consciously, oh, this is where we're gonna be or whatever. Nah, we just knew we were just gonna do what we're doing and stick with what we're doing and stick with the craft, and we ended up where we end up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we stuck it out to the point where we can sit there nowadays and be like, you know, shit,
Have a laugh.
and
Yeah.
have a laugh, and you know, see like, you know, family's right, we're looking right, everything's like thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even a funny one, even I think which was a moment actually, and I pulled him up as me, Manu and Z used to share a studio room together.
Yeah.
At this studio we had in Alexandria, right? And then when we moved in there, it's like I think Zig was probably the more like he was already working and doing a few things, so he had a really successful like club trill and all that. So he was doing okay, and he's the one who found the room. Yeah. But me and Manu was like, we're grinding, we're working it out, cuz. And you know, I'm a bit older than Manu as well, and whatever. But we in there, and then I think like, you know, not to put Mandem's business out there, but like I said it was a moment that me and him was like we used to sleep on the couch in the stew. You know what I mean? Because we ain't trying to go home because we're like
it's a mission.
It's a mission, and trains are off. So me and him would sit there.
Yeah.
And then come last year, then me and him have got our own headline sets at Splendid in the Grass. You know what I mean? Just last year. Yeah. So me and him, and Ziggy's his DJ, as well as his management. Yeah. And then the three of us are sitting there like at Splendid in the Grass, and he's doing the Friday, I'm doing the Saturday. We both did sold like full tents. Yeah. And we're looking at each other like, fuck, Charlie, oi. We're just looking at like, whoa, fuck, come, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. We don't know where we're going. Mm-hmm. We just did the work. You know what I mean? We don't know where we end up. And that's why I pulled the two of them like, hey, this is a moment. Someone take a photo, the moment, bro.
Just embrace
Someone take a photo. And I was running late. Like I got there like super late. I got there halfway through Moscow. I'm like, I gotta see this set because I was in the same tent with the day after. Like, I gotta see this set before I get there. Like, and I got there halfway through. You know, we're gonna whoop de whoop, and it was a vibe. Damn. But that's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And we all from like came up together, literally. Yeah. For real.
So all of this, the way that you grew up, and you know the lessons that you learned. How did that influence your last album, Area Famous?
Area Famous was influenced by my life up until that point. Yeah. So it was basically, it's a period of time. So if you were to capture it, it's basically of like me being like, say, around 12, like literally like 12 years old, up until being like 21. Okay, right? Cool. Yeah. So that was like a capture. So everything on that project and everything about it was captured for that particular time. Yeah. Because it took me, again, what we're saying is like, you know, I was waiting for deals and being signed and all this shit. Yeah. And then eventually that did happen, but so by the time I put out my first album, it was like I had to get a particular part, history, you know what I mean? I had to get it out, I had to say it, get off my chest and put it to rest. And it did its thing, bro. You know what I mean? And I was happy with how that album went and what it did and what it did for the culture, and like, you know, won a couple of awards off it and whoop-de-whoop and toured it, and it changed my life. After that album came out, my life didn't change, you know what I mean? Yeah. Music became a full-time job, so that's like what I mean. So I was influenced, I took my influence of how I grew up, who I am, going from, you know, being, you know, this young kid to then adolescence where it went fucking, you know, crazy and whoop-de-whoop, then to slowly trying to calm down and figure it out as a young adult. That's what that whole period was.
Damn. Now, I think what was cool is that was probably the first, I wouldn't say project in regards to anything, music, whatever, that I actually saw something that I was like, shit, this guy must be, I don't know, I might not know who this guy is, but I know definitely what area he's from. You know, no pun intended, but like I knew that regardless of who this person is, whatever this person is resonates with me. Yeah. Because I know that experience you're talking about. Yeah. I can resonate with it. Exactly. I can break it down to what it is and the growth periods and all the struggles to get where it was. So I thought that was dope that you would capture that moment, because for a lot of people, like they could capture that moment. It relates to a lot of people. I think that's why I think that's why I did well, because a lot of people, like I said, can look at this and be like, "Fuck, Area Famous." It's like mixed emotions.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Literally.
It's like emotions of highs, lows and then a lot of period of just rethinking.
Yeah.
Rethinking, regrowing, and sort of reevaluating where you sort of at. Because I sort of went through the same period. I grew up, like, when I started, actually, I came to Sydney when I was probably 9. 8.
Yeah.
And I grew up in so I started off at Cabramatta.
In Cabra, yeah.
So imagine at that time, there are no black kids. I went past
like Viets and everything.
It's straight. Everyone
at that time,
Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Right. So at that time, me and my sister were the only black kids at the primary school. Right. I went past there maybe like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I saw these little black kids and I was like, yo, they build a statue for me or something because I knocked down those walls for them. I knocked down those walls for them.
For the man.
And then I went to Pat's in Fairfield. So I went from
that's St. Pat's.
Patricia Brothers.
Yeah, Patrician Brothers. That was the high school.
The high school on the Him Highway.
Did you ever teach?
Yeah,
called Mr. Rafferty, was he?
Yeah,
there?
Mr. Rafferty, yeah.
He's still there?
He's not there then, but he was my Year 7 coordinator.
Mr. Rafferty?
Yeah.
That was, bro, he was my teacher as well before he was at
Really?
Pat's. Yeah, bro. So I went to GSCC in Hoxton Park, and he was my PE teacher.
My homie teaches there.
Word. Yeah. That is
I don't want to put his name out there because he's... You know
I know who you're talking about. That's my dog.
That's what I'm saying. It's all very small.
That's my dog, and he set up for me to go back to my old high school.
Yeah?
Yeah, so to go and fucking see the 2 teachers that got me through high school and to go and we took Red Bull there and we did a doco at freaking my old high school, literally, bro. And I don't know what he's talking about, like my guy, he set it up.
Yeah.
For real.
But yeah, anyways, and then I went to Patricia Brothers in Fairfield. So now I'm like a bunch of Assyrians,
that's crazy.
Europeans, because Fairfield's hella European.
Yeah.
But then up to that point,
Latinos out there.
Yeah, a bunch of Chileans that live out there too. But up until that point, it was like, while I was in primary school, I did not know myself at all. Yeah. Like I was a black kid in an old Asian environment. I was trying to figure shit out. I was like looking like, what the fuck? And then like in Year 6, from the transition from Year 6 to 7, my mom took me to Zimbabwe for some reason.
Yeah, right.
So I was there for like 3-4 months.
That's your background. Yeah.
I'm Zimbabwean.
Zimbabwe. You're Zim. Yeah.
So I was there for like 3-4 months. From that to that. And then when I sort of hit Year 7, I sort of knew who I was.
That's when you figure it out.
I figured it out. Oh shit! So this is who I am.
Yeah.
And then I started to hop. And then a bunch of my homies. I started meeting black people from different environments, and I grew. But then I know that transition period you're talking about when you're talking about area famous. Yeah. And then what happens from the stage of like Year 7 to Year 12 and having friends that go in a particular way. Literally. And then you're trying to figure out if you should go that particular way or you somehow ended out. And then you hit the point where you're like in Year 12 when you gotta figure out your shit. Yeah. All right, am I going to uni?
Exactly.
HSC, I got to trade out. Am I going to get trade? And then after that, it just sort of gets trippy because you're figuring yourself out. Yeah. But for me, what tripped me out was, not tripped me out, but like what sort of got me out of that stage was I got a good ATAR, but it's not because I was super smart. It's just that I understood the system. Yeah. The HSC is a system. Yeah. Uni's a system. Yeah. You don't have to be super smart. You just gotta know the system to pass. Yeah. So then I got a degree and I went to Macquarie. Yeah. So then now I'm around all these kids from the North Shore. Yeah. So like I'm starting to do some North Shore shit, and then a bunch of my homies are doing shit from the area. Yeah. Then I graduated and I got back. So like it was a trippy thing. But the thing is,
you make a full circle. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
And the thing is, you know how you raise and hey, come on there, like that shit don't leave you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like to reiterate, or to add on to what you're saying, you know what I mean? Is exactly that. You know, and that album was like talking about those stages, you know, being young, being menacing. Like this is like when we went to songs like The Code and Whoop De Whoop. Yeah. And then we go to Sunday Best where you find oneself. Yeah. You know, being from where we were and how we grew up, like that's always instilled in you. I didn't get a good, what do you call it, ATAR? Yeah. My shit was whack. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? My shit was bad because I went to school like 3 days a week, like out of the 5. Yeah. Every week. Yeah. But hit me here. But that's because of who I was and like who I was surrounded by. Yeah. Now everyone knows I'm not a tough guy, I'm not a gangster or anything like that. Right? I'm just who I am. Like I stand on my 10, that's it. If you know me, I'm just a man of my word, all right, sweet. Yeah. And that's how I've always been, right? And if some people I have that I know and I've still grown with and I've lost and still aura around, that's them. Some other people on this side. Now here's the flip. My shit, like we're saying, hate is bad, right? I freaking, you know, African parents is like, you gotta do something. Yeah, you gotta do something in your life. You either gotta work, go get a job, or or study or whatever. You can't be doing music in this house, rap like that. You can't be doing
full
that.
Time. No.
What? You can't. Bro, that's like they gotta choose something. So I even went to TAFE for a second, just so I can get the thing over to go to uni.
Oh, okay, the year thing, the bridging.
Yeah, the
that
bridging.
did,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
can fix my shit
yeah,
up,
yeah.
do a cert for here, a little diploma
Yeah,
there.
they did a little apply for
Then
that
I'm
thing.
then
yeah.
I'm gonna pull up to UWS like,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
So,
Shout out to all. I know. Shout out to everyone that's doing that.
yeah,
I fuck with
bro.
y'all.
So
I got a bunch of homies that did
all
that.
my boys be like, oh, they start. Some people that they started that year right after high school. I disappeared for a year, maybe a year and a half. But I came
back with a douche. Yeah.
Hey, you know what I mean? I slid right in.
Yeah.
But here it is, yeah. And the thing is though, but I still, and on top, on doing this music, I still did uni too, bro.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a graduate too, and I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? I did a bachelor of business and commerce, and I majored in marketing, and I did it through UWS, which is now Western Sydney University, right? But and then so I can sit there, you know what I mean, and have a conversation with whoever doesn't make me any better than anyone else, or this and that. But I can sit there and have a conversation with my man Dems, and I can still be in, you know what I mean? I can walk into a label meeting and have a friggin' I can sit at a corporate conversation, and on top I'm the artist too.
Yeah. There's no bullshit.
There's no bullshit. So I'm the artist. So I'm not one artist that you can sit there and just try and put the shades over my eyes, because I'm educated. You're not gonna fuck with me, bro. And at the same time, I'm very vocal about how I feel. You know what I mean? And I know my music and everything like that. So what are you gonna say? You
can't talk shit.
There's nothing to be said.
So what's inspiring you now, man? What's the energy for the new music? Because I know I saw the camp that you did, which is fucking.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a crazy idea. I think it was just a good idea just to. I think that there's a lot of producers in Australia that don't get a lot of limelight, or they don't have the ability to come together.
Come together, yeah.
I thought it was a good idea just to fucking get a bunch of them together, just in the same room. And then you started to make. So what did you guys do there? Like, how did that happen?
So basically, I've had this idea for some time because I've had collaborators and people that I've worked with, you know, in the music industry, but I've had this idea of putting producers, a group of producers, who I personally love, I have a good rapport with, together, and also putting those group of producers and songwriters together who I feel would also connect well. They all know of each other. Some don't spend as much time with each other, but to put them all in a house. Yeah. So basically, you know, I've started my own label imprint, you know, with my partners, with my management, etc. But I've the first move for me, or the first play, was to do this thing, was just to hire this, you know, house, this away in the Blue Mountains, the massive crib, and we stayed there for like a week, and we wrote music, and we wrote it all for my second album. Yeah. Right, because I've been recording like music nonstop, but it's just like I didn't feel I was ready to make something like, you know, another body of work. And there's enough material there for if I want to do an EP or an album, whatever, but I'm focusing on a certain goal. Yeah. So producers like that were there, like Nick Martin, I Am Solo, which you've had on the show, young and one of my boys, Juve, from Melbourne, Milan Ring, Blessed, who else, man? I said Nick Martin already. Yeah. Not yet. Yeah, so we were all in that house together. Yeah. And working, bro. And we set up 3 different rooms, and it was just back and forth, different sounds, different sonics, different energy. You know what I'm saying? Every day was a movie. Every night was a movie. You know what I mean? And that's what has created the imprint of this project, this next project that I'm. What are you sort of looking at? I guess what's inspired you to create a second album now, timing wise, just and everything? Man. Just like now, just feels right. I went through some, you know, a lot of stuff, you know, like what are we in 2020 now? So like 2019, even 2018, I went through a lot of things, a lot of changes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I can't be rapping about the exact same thing anymore. Certain topics that matter, I've put to bed, I've put to rest. Now it's about me. I've got a different set of tools. You know what I mean? I'm embracing the, you know, my element of being able to sing as well. I can sing on my music, and I was like, people know I can rap. I've been rapping for time. You know what I mean? People know I can deliver that side, but now I want to show another side of, you know, musicianship. I want to show another side of songwriting. So I'm using a different bunch of tools on this project as well, and balancing it out and becoming a better musician, but also being able to just like sonically really deliver and make, you know, groundbreaking music, if I can say it like that. Well, man, that's dope, man. I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, we've got to end the podcast, man.
Oh, man.
It's been crazy. I feel like there's been a lot of great information that people can get from this conversation. You know, definitely looking forward to the new music, and yeah,
Bless.
leave it at that. No worries.
Thank you,
Thanks,
my
bro.
G. Appreciate
Easy.
you, man.